Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
How would you like to make your first million? And today we have a guest. His name is Amer Tadayon, the CEO and founder of Lizzy Hub. So, Amer, tell us, what are the 5 steps to make your first million?
So I think the first thing is you got to have an idea, right? And so I'll give you my feedback and my input from starting the companies I've started, which are product companies. But I'd say first do your research, make sure you know what you're getting into, so that when you're 6 months in, you don't realize, oh, I probably shouldn't have gone this route. So do your research. That's the first. The second one, and it's really important, is try and fail. So if you look at Lucihub today, the platform we have today isn't what we started with. In fact, we did 3 rapid prototypes, tested them in market, threw them away and started over. So try and fail, right? The third one is get the right people. It's always who, not how. If you have the right people, you have a greater chance for success. And being an entrepreneur is all about minimizing risk, because it's probably the riskiest thing you're going to do. And then the fourth thing I would say is get the right money. There really is a difference between good and bad money. And if you get the wrong people who put in the wrong kind of money, it's going to cost you your company and your business. And I think the fifth one is jump all in. I see too many entrepreneurs who try to do this side hustle for so long that it never takes off, because it's always just a side hustle. You have to pay your bills, but at some point you have to make a commitment to the project and you have to go all in, or it's just always going to be a hobby or a side hustle.
Yeah, and then I want to ask you, because in this podcast, right, 1 out of 5 that we interview, they're either in tech or in property. So it seems that become a tech entrepreneur is a very good way to become wealthy. So what's your view on this? Why being a tech entrepreneur is an advantage, or is it really an advantage, or people are not aware that not because few people have made it, it's actually tech is a little bit competitive and is difficult to make it if you don't know what you're doing, right?
Yeah, tech is incredibly difficult if you don't know what you're doing. And I think one of the biggest mistakes that entrepreneurs make is they'll have an idea and they'll find a programmer. They say, I found a guy to build my product. I'm going to tell you this: building production quality software is incredibly difficult, and it's never the job of one person. Anytime I've started a business, the software pieces had to be with a team. Yeah, you can get one programmer to create what we would call a proof of concept, but as soon as you're going to put something in market, you better have the engineers, you better have the quality assurance team, right? You better have really good front end design. It takes a team to build great software. And I think one of the biggest mistakes I see is people go, oh, I found a guy who's going to build this for me. No guy is ever going to build you production quality software. So I think that's one of the biggest mistakes I've seen entrepreneurs make when they want to get into tech. But I will tell you how tech could be incredibly successful for anybody. I think the best way to start a company and be successful is to find a market that is low tech and add tech to it. Right? So you find a market
I love it. I love it.
It's fragmented, it's disparate, it's incredibly low tech. And then what you do is you can apply basic technologies to create efficiencies. And those efficiencies will give you a competitive advantage in that particular industry. So it doesn't even have to be across the industry. You can get an industry, right? Let's say landscaping. Figure out a way to create efficiencies on how you capture customers, on how you how you collect your checks, on how you route your people, and just that business is going to be incredibly competitive against everybody else. So it doesn't have to be a tech company. It could be the application of tech in a low tech business, and you could hugely succeed that way.
Now let's talk about, because we see a lot. I think it's a misconception. I think obviously the people see the founder of Facebook, the founder of Google. They think all these people, and they think that to be a successful tech entrepreneur, you have to be a software developer. And we find out that everybody that is succeeding in tech, most of the people actually they are not software developers. They do understand something even more important than the software, which is get the product market fit. Because I think that when we have tech founders that they are software developers, they are immersed in the software and they want to make the software the best they can for the client, but it doesn't work like that. You have to be able to not create the software that you think that is going to work for the client. We have to be able to create the product that the clients need and want, and they are willing to spend money. So, how you find out in your career that, for example, this thing that you share with me is actually very powerful. That you told me, Harry, we have to do 3 iterations, and then the fourth one is was actually what
Yeah.
works. Why? From where do you got this strength that you say, okay, you know what, we just need to give it up and start it over again? Whether what we see out there is people putting more money, resources, and everything, trying to build the perfect software, and then when you go out there, nobody wants to buy it, and people keep hanging, keep focusing. Oh, is the tech that had to be better, and they keep developing and developing without listening to the clients.
Yeah, so that's a really good point and a really good question. In our case with Lucihub, what happened was we came up with an idea to get videos turned around really fast for events. And we specifically went after weddings, right? Most wedding videographers don't return a video for 6 months. We
Next
said we're
time.
going to return it that night. So our system was designed to deliver a video 2 hours after the reception started. And it's a great
Wow.
market and it could still work. But then we had a
It's a
public
lot of
relations.
value there.
There is a lot of value there in the wedding space, but then what happened was we had a public relations firm say, hey, we have two customers who are announcing products at this large conference, and they want their announcement to be online before the press gets it online. Can you use your technology to do that? And what happened, Harry, is we made 10 times the revenue, 20 times the revenue as we would have on one wedding. And so we looked at this and we said, this is an even better market and it has huge needs for what we're doing. And so we that was, by the way, that was the second product we threw away. We threw that away. We started back and we said, we're going to build an
Wow, you
enterprise
start from
platform.
scratch again?
Yeah, we did. We did.
Wow.
But we learned a lot of
That's
lessons, so we
very
were able to get
brave,
it
yeah?
faster.
Not too many people do that, right? They hang on to the because they say, well, I invest a lot of money in this wedding thing. I need to make this wedding thing to work, and I don't want to do it. So why how you find the strength to see, this is a better market. We need to repurpose our product, and let's go for it again. And remember, this is just the second time. You have two more times.
So this was actually the third time. I think this was the third time. But here's why. In one day, we generated as much business as we would have having to do 20 wedding events. And so what we realized was the enterprise is willing to pay for this value much more than somebody getting married is. And then what we looked at is we looked at our product market fit, and we said, you know what, events are great, but there's a bigger problem in the market. You have the enterprise that has to feed this beast called social media. And traditionally, they would spend tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars on a video, and they would use it for an entire year. They would have cut downs versions of it. Those days are over. You're lucky if your video has a week of shelf life. So we said,
Absolutely.
our model is actually a better fit for enterprise than it is for weddings, because there is a need for content cost effectively. And so now it's not just about events. We have companies using us for recruiting videos, for product highlight videos, for testimonial videos. So we found a much broader market by making that pivot. And it was basically making a decision to, yes, weddings will be a big market and you could go be successful there, but we could be much more successful at the enterprise. And
And
so
this have
that's why we did it.
something, yeah, but this have something to do with you as a tech entrepreneur, that you're willing to surrender your initial idea and pivot not because of what you want, is what the client want to, what the client need, and how you find a bigger audience, and then you say, okay, you know what, this is what they want, and let's pivot. Take a lot of courage, and not too many people. So, which message do you have for tech entrepreneurs out there that
I think the
don't do
message,
what you did? Because I invest in tech. I'm on the space, and I see a lot, and this is actually uncommon, and maybe probably is the reason why you're successful.
I think the biggest problem with entrepreneurs is they're married to their baby. It's their baby and they want to see it. There's still one person in this company who keeps saying, we should have stayed the course 2 years later, right? And I look at them and I go, we would have been out of business if we stayed the course, right? For every deal we sign in enterprise, it's like signing 40 to 50 weddings, right? So, but I think it's because people are married to they're so married to their ideas that they're willing to let go. And one of the hardest lessons I learned here is if you take a step back and you just kind of let the universe fill the gaps, you're going to have a better product and a better business.
Yeah. So tell us about the next iteration.
So the next iteration was we were an AI-based company before ChatGPT was available. We were
Oh
using
wow.
ML and computer vision, right,
Yeah,
on the
because
back.
you had this is the only way that you can do fast the
Yeah.
thing, right?
So then ChatGPT came out, and we were a Microsoft Founders Hub member, so we had access to all the open AIs. And I said, guys, our product today goes from production to final. If we deploy a unified platform with all of the open AI tools, we can go from idea to final. So we put the brakes on all the tech we were building on the back end
Oh
because
my God.
we'd already created efficiencies. One of our editors can probably do 10 times the edits that a traditional production company could do. We'd already created efficiencies. We already had capacity. So I said, hey, let's put the brakes on and let's build this front end because it's going to be really important. And so today what we have is we have this really great platform that lets you use AI to create a script, a shot list, a voiceover, a blog, a social media post, but then you can push it into our production platform, film your content, and our editors take it to the finish line. We're the only hybrid platform in the world that combines AI technology, cloud technology, and professional editors. That pivot got us a better product.
Wow, that sounds amazing. So, in the end, the so what happened with the weddings? You still offering the service?
You know, we have one client that wants to do weddings with us, and they're a large studio, and they do 900 weddings a year. So they're a channel partner, and we do weddings for them, but that's the only place we do weddings. We don't do weddings anymore.
Yeah. So, and you're happy, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, we have a great product and then we're just literally, it's the tip of the iceberg for us. You know, we're rolling out a bunch of tools. We roll out a new iteration every 2 weeks. So we started in events. Now we have HR departments using us regularly, which we never thought about, right? They're creating recruiting videos regularly. We're now going into learning and development. So people are using us to create all their learning and development videos. And you know, the fact that they can turn around dozens of videos for you know, in the hundreds of dollars, US dollars, for a video, it's a really cool tool for the enterprise and other businesses and agencies. So we just rolled out white label, and so now as an agency, you can white label our service. We'll be your back end. Nobody ever knows, and you just go ahead and resell our platform.
Wow, that's brilliant. And then tell us about your story, because those decisions that you make. So, how you end up to become a tech entrepreneur without being a tech developer, right? Without being a something.
Well, so I actually studied computer science, but
Ah,
I was
there you
really
go. You have
bad.
some understanding, yeah.
Yes, I was what I would say a failed computer scientist.
Me
But
too.
I went into sales and marketing, and I actually studied human factors, which was more design. I think the biggest thing that happened for me wasn't being a programmer. It was being around a bunch of tech companies, right? But the skill I learned, which I think is more valuable than being a programmer as an entrepreneur, is selling. I think if you're going to be a really good founder, if you're going to succeed, you have to be a salesperson. You have to sell that product, that vision, and whether it's raising capital or selling to your clients, And for me, it's still a work in progress, right? Every time I get off of a sales pitch or an investor call, I think about, what could we have done better? Every time someone says no to us, we try to figure out, why did they say no? Is it us? Is it them? What's the problem? But I think if you want to succeed as a founder, you better get some basic selling skills under your belt.
And then, but this one was your first business, or do you have a business before?
No, no, this is the fifth business. This is the fifth business,
I
and
knew, yeah.
most of them failed. I mean, most of them were complete. People talk about failures. Most of mine were disasters.
Well, if I
And
tell you my failures in business, you will start to cry, and I don't want to depress you. So,
no, I think I'm right there with you. I think I'm right there with you. But I have a bunch of businesses that didn't make it, and I have the products sitting on a shelf in my office to remind me of the lessons I learned. And I think
absolutely.
that's really important, right? Um, I did have a company where I stayed the course and I didn't change my direction and I failed, right? So this time
Me too.
changing directions
Tell me about it.
didn't mean it meant success. It meant, hey, it's survivability. I won't even say success because we're still only a two-year-old company. We still have a long way to go, right? It's survivability. And as an entrepreneur, it's like, how do you survive the next month and the next month and the next month, right?
Especially in tech. Especially,
Especially in tech, yeah.
yeah.
And we're a little different. We're tech and services, but
Hmm.
so they're all lessons. They're all lessons there. That's why I was able to throw away two products or three products and start over, because I lived in a world where I kept that product and I didn't let go of that product, and everything just crashed because I didn't make a couple of decisions.
So, what message do you have for tech entrepreneurs out there that don't have your experience and they're hanging on to the first product and they don't want to let go, they don't want to pivot it, and they just marry and they because they don't have your experience, they don't know because, like you said, I have products that I created and they are sitting on the shelf and I never make it anyway. So you knew that you're starting something, but as soon as the market give you a sign, if you had to turn 180 degrees, you will. But if you had to turn 360, you will because you have that experience. But let's face it, most of the tech entrepreneurs out there don't have your experience, so they hang on to the and it's sad because sometimes there are good pros that just need this a little bit of open mind, a little bit of because I think that by now you're ready, you don't have ego. You're ready. Your ego has been
Yeah.
because of the failures earlier. Your ego already is gone, and you are in business. And being in business is, hey, I'm gonna have this product. I'm gonna put it out there. Let's see what happens. I try to sell it, but if the market give me another sign, I'm gonna take it. And if I have to reinvent the whole thing again, I will. What because you knew that this is important. But most of the tech entrepreneurs out there, because they don't have your experience, they still hanging on to that, and then the companies fails, and it's very sad because.
Mhm.
So, what message do you have for these people?
So I think it's not just a message about being an entrepreneur. I think it's a message about life. Letting go is a superpower. Whether it's the product that you need to change or get rid of, whether it's the team members, and even in your personal life, like letting go is a superpower. People hold on way too tight to things in life, and it burns them or it hurts them or it costs them their business. Sometimes you just got to take a step back and say, this isn't going to work, and as much as I want it to, it's just not going to work, and I'm going to move on, right?
Yeah.
And so I think it's a life lesson, not a business lesson, which is letting go is a superpower.
Yeah, I remember back in the day, I have this brilliant idea. I started my first property business. We managed to sell over 5 million. It was amazing. But then I have this brilliant idea that I want to have a restaurant. And I opened the first halal Spanish tapas in Brick Lane in London. I have it for 2 years. I lost 200,000 pounds. I lost my girlfriend. I lost the restaurant. It was and almost my other business collapsed because of this. It was a total disaster. I remember that some French entrepreneur come to see me and they were saying me, Harry, this business not making this any money. Close this restaurant. And I was getting angry. So I was like my baby, and said, what are you talking about? I'm gonna make it work. And it was not working.
Yeah,
And I'm like you said, you get attached like it's your baby, and even you getting angry, even people telling you the truth, and you getting angry with them. That's your friends are trying to help you, and and is, but after you don't fail, have that failure, and you have the financial loss, and you have the experience, you don't actually learn, right? And
Well, you might have, with the experience, you might have said, okay, maybe it shouldn't be a tapas bar. Maybe it should be a wine bar that serves tapas, right?
yeah,
I mean, you get creative because you've made these investments. You're like, well, how do we make this a little different? How do we change the messaging? Maybe it's hey, it's a Spanish wine bar, and people come in for happy hour. Oh, by the way, we serve tapas, right?
yeah.
So it's being creative actually, which is I think the other thing that entrepreneurs need to have is they need to be able to just think cleverly and creatively with what they have
And
to
to
work.
pivot, yeah. Somebody told me a story about the tech, one guy in the tech industry, I don't remember the company, that the guy want to do a video game, right? And they want to do a video game, and they develop the video game, they want to do the video game. At the end of the day, the video of the game didn't work. And then, but they managed to sell the tool that they developed to put the pictures in the video game to Yahoo, and they make a lot of money. And it was something that was not a video game, it was something that they developed to develop the video game. And the guy again went there and say, okay, now that I have a lot of money, now I'm gonna beat the video game. Instead to beat the video game again, a lot of people give him money again. The video game never went to anywhere. And but he said, hey, but because we're building this, we have this sharing platform that we communicated with our team. Maybe the rest of the money we can use it on this. And the name of this platform is Slack. So so
Yeah.
the guy never had done the video game, but already have exited, twice. And it's so sometime in that journey, if you're able to be flexible, and you're able to notice what the customer want, you can, and you let that go, you're able to surrender, you can always have
Yeah.
a path. And but how difficult is for the people actually listen to your clients? Because I guess that when you go there to your team and say, guys, we're gonna scratch all over and we're gonna start again and everything. So I mean that by now your team is used to you and say, okay, don't worry about it, this is normal in this company. But the first time that you went there and you said to everybody, listen, we're scratching up everything, what happened with your team?
I'll tell you, I have a great team. They were up for the challenge.
That's important.
They were really up for that. It's an amazing team, and these guys, you would think it's their company. They founded it. I mean, they literally, they every pivot we've made, they've embraced it. They've want to make the product better. It's been great. They've been a really positive team to work with, and I think that was one of the 5 points I made is find the right people because if you don't have the right people, you're going to run into a lot of problems. And unfortunately, in other businesses, and even in this one, we've had some of the wrong people. And once you figure out they're the wrong people, you just got to get them out of there because it becomes toxic.
Yeah. But then the thing is, like it's all about the culture. I had, like I said, 1 out of 5 people that come to this podcast is tech. So we talk tech entrepreneurs, so we talk a lot with them. They all sometimes I asking them what are the, if you had to start all over again, why you put more emphasis, what do you think that was missing on the first piece? And they always tell me Harry, culture. The if I knew what's gonna happen, how many times we need to do the thing again and again, I will put more attention in the culture of the company, in the people, in terms like, for example, in our company, our team, they're used to, they when we tell them, okay, we're doing this, even if it sounds crazy, our team don't even, they don't even because they are used to us. They know that we embrace challenges, and sometimes we if we like an idea and it sounds crazy, and we need to put it in place to see what happens. And everybody in the team, everybody, we create the culture. It comes with experience as well. That when we have the people, we calling them ninjas. The people who work with us, because they're like ninjas. That wherever you throw at them,
Yeah.
you will never hear anyone in our company say this is not my job.
Well,
Never,
I'll tell you this though.
never. Yeah, it
I'm a
doesn't
big
happen.
believer in culture, but I also will tell you culture starts at the top from leadership.
Absolutely.
If 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 the leadership doesn't value culture, it'll never exist. And I've for better or worse, worked for leaders that value culture, and I've worked for leaders who value profitability and numbers and look at people as just a line item on a spreadsheet, right? And if you can't lead with empathy, you can't build culture. And I'm a true believer of that. If and it starts from the top. And so, the guys who say, I want to build culture, but I can't, should look in the mirror because they're most likely the problem.
Yeah, and then it's very simple, right? If you as a founder of the CEO, you start to say, okay, this is not my job, this is the job of somebody else. Well, what are you expecting out of your team? When you give it this job, they will tell you, no, this is not my job, this is the job of somebody else.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
and in a small tech company, this is a problem because well, in a small tech company, in any company that is small, when you are just few people, that you have to wear a lot of hats. um that culture makes the whole difference. So when you realize, yeah, because at the end of the day, you build this team, you choose the people. So when do you realize that, hey, if I want to succeed, if I want to grow, I have to work more on myself, and I have to do maybe things that I don't like, so I can increase the culture in the company, that, hey, this is a business, the job has to be done, this is a small company, there are things that we like, there are things that we don't like. At the end of the day, we have to do anything because we have everything, because we have to go to a next level. And so how do you work on yourself to be the reflection? Because at the end of the day, the team is a reflection of you.
yeah. That's a great question. So I actually work with, you can call her a therapist, a coach, whatever you want to call her. But every Monday morning at 6:40 a.m., I spend an hour with somebody and we talk about my personal life. We talk about the business life. I go in with a notepad of things I need to work on, whether it's on myself or on communication with other people or whatever. But one of the things that I truly believe is if you don't work on yourself, eventually you're going to be, first of all, you're not going to be a good leader. Second of all, you're going to be irrelevant. And when I say work on myself, I mean both on my profession and on me personally, right? So I like to think I'm constantly a work in progress. And just like we roll out new software every 2 weeks, I need to grow regularly. And so I work with somebody, and I think everybody should. I think you're a coach too. I think
Yeah.
everybody should work with somebody. The other thing I do, Harry, is I surround myself with people who've done more than me, right? I really believe having a good support base of advisors, not just in business but in life, is a good place to be.
Hmm.
And so that's how I do it.
Yeah, it's a different way to see. And let me ask you another question regarding this, because there are, the when we started a business, right? And
Yep.
you already started several. You have, you started with that idea, and then you need to find your first client, you need to find the first supply, you need to build that. And because you don't have authority, nobody knows you, maybe you have the wrong client that doesn't pay you, maybe you have the wrong supply, maybe you hire someone in the team that is toxic. And but all this energy, because at the end of the day, we are responsible for everything, yeah. So
Yeah.
obviously it gives you a sense of frustration, give you a sense of anger. But hey, guess what? If you're angry and frustrated, your team is gonna be angry and frustrated, your clients are gonna be angry and frustrated, your people gonna give you money gonna be angry and frustrated.
Yeah.
So how you manage to identify that you have to work on yourself to let go all this, what we call a negative baggage, and
Yeah.
be aligned and be positive, and think that everything is going to work out fine. Well, we know as an entrepreneur,
Well,
sometimes, when I have my company, the word at some point, I remember we have, um I remember, I'm telling you, maybe 15 years ago, yeah, we have like 170 clients. It was a large operation, thousands of pounds. But there were days that was only 10 pounds in the bank account. And I was like, oh my God. And I had to go to the office smiling and say, okay, everything everything is fine, everything's gonna work out. And I'm thinking, oh my God, if everybody knew But guess what happened? It was 10 pounds in the bank account, but the next day there were 10,000, next 50,000. And but it's that day or these 2, 3 days that you're feeling like, man, I have to go to the office and I have to smile and I have to be positive. Where you're looking in the background and you say, oh my God, if something now goes wrong, it's gonna be really tough. And we all have that as an entrepreneur. So how you work on yourself to let all that go, to let all this stress, to get all this go, and and be positive. I find that you have very good energy, so you definitely work a lot on yourself.
I have to work on myself a
You
lot.
have to,
I
yeah.
I have an investor who said if you haven't had three mood swings in a day, you're not a founder. And I think he's right. It's some days it's really, really, really hard. I mean,
Agree.
raising money in this climate has been incredibly difficult. Last year we
Yeah,
raised our first round just like that. This year was a little more difficult. And so there are plenty of those days where you have to juggle things and you have to talk to vendors and you have to talk to um, uh, so I do a couple of
and
things. One
sometimes
is
you make it about you. You say, okay, they found this VC venture capital, they didn't give me money because of me, and now you start to judge yourself. And maybe it's not just the right fit. And like you said, it's been very difficult to raise money in tech. No, for you, for everybody.
for everybody. And we're doing it. We're just doing it a lot slower than we did it last time. And yeah, it's really easy to
But that's
doubt
okay.
yourself and say, "Oh, what did I say wrong this time? What did I do wrong this time?" I mean, I spend most of my days pitching either customers or investors, right? And you talk about doing things you hate doing. Those are things I hate pitching investors. I'll pitch customers all day long because I believe in my product. But getting somebody to write a check who doesn't really know your industry, doesn't really know your business, and typically follows a herd, right? They look at a buzzword or something. It's a lot harder. And I love building products. I love being on the product side. I got to be on the product side for maybe 12 months, and then it was all about sales and sales and capital raising, right? It's the job you hate doing, but it's the job every founder has to do, unfortunately. Um,
Absolutely.
and so I have to just take a step back sometimes and just realize,
And you don't say, this is not my job. You don't say, this is not my job. Somebody else had to do it. Because at the moment that you said that, now it goes rippling the whole culture of the company, and it
yeah,
doesn't work.
yeah, no, it is my job, right? It's any founder's job. If the company doesn't work, it's the founder's
I
problem,
hear
right?
a lot of founders that say, no, I'm not interested. I'm not gonna do the raising and everything. I'm gonna hire a CFO, and this is gonna do it. I'm done. For me, just my problem is the product and things like that. We and this is difficult, right? It's probably maybe because they previously they have a job, right? So when they have a job, they used to go to work and do something specific. And now when they bring this mindset to the business, to a tech entrepreneur, they want to continue with that mindset, but it's
Yeah.
completely different again. You have to be open and surrender and do things you like, things that you don't like, right?
I remember leaving a really great job at IBM to go be an entrepreneur.
Wow.
And it was because I remember my whole family are entrepreneurs, and we were all having dinner, and they were talking about things that I didn't even understand. And I thought, wow, here I thought I was learning everything at IBM, but I was learning how to sell really well, right? I was doing global business development. I was learning process. I was learning a lot of good things, but I wasn't learning how to be a business owner. And I left to start that business. And I remember going to raise money, and I went to this particular investor. He said, I like you. I think you're a smart guy. Come to me on the next business. And I never understood what he meant until I lost everything on that business. And I'm like, oh my God, I lost everybody's money. I lost all of my money. It was my biggest learning lesson in being an entrepreneur. And what you
Yeah.
said is absolutely right. People leave a company and they think because they were successful running a piece of a business at a company that they're going to be successful entrepreneurs, and it's just not the same thing. It's just not. Most of them don't have the risk capacity or the capacity for risk, right? Most of them don't realize that, hey, you might have been a great salesperson or a sales leader, but here you got to manage everybody. And oh, by the way, you got to deal with the books and the finances,
Oh
and
my
you
God.
you got to do all of this stuff, and they just don't realize it. So, you know, pulling somebody out of a business to come run a sales team for you or something is one thing, but most of the people I've seen leave a corporate job to go be an entrepreneur I've had a pretty big failure the first time around, maybe the first three times around. I had
Mm.
a couple of guys who were really, really successful C-level executives who went to start businesses and went back into corporate America because it was just a different mindset.
Mm. And again, they are not able to surrender. Yeah. So I
Yeah.
think that you have done something really, really good, which is obviously come with experience. Entrepreneurs, I always said, everyone can become a good entrepreneur, right? The thing is that it's a skill base. It's not a talent base. Yeah. We are
It is. I think it's a skill base, and
The
it's
more you practice, the better you become, right? It's like driving or like swimming.
well, and you have to remember your mistakes. You know, one of my biggest things is I made the same mistake three companies in a row, and I didn't learn from it, right? And so for this company, I literally, anytime I'm going to make a decision, I think about, well, what did you do this last time? What did you do the last three times? And I won't make that same mistake
That
again.
happened to me also. I started to write it. I started to write it because back on the and it's hard, yeah. And because sometimes we don't learn the lesson, yeah. I usually learn the lesson when I lost a lot of money.
So
if,
look,
if
it's
if
an
I
education.
fail, but I didn't lose substantial amount of money, guess what? I will repeat the same mistake. But when it hit me hard, and like this restaurant that it was a big, then the lessons that I did from there, they are forever, right? Because so I think so then what advice do you have to people that actually embrace change without having to lose a lot of money? Because for me, I have very, very difficult way of learning. Yeah, I had to lose a lot of money to actually learn.
But I think most entrepreneurs do. I really do. I've lost a ton. I've lost huge multiple times, right? I think that's what makes you an entrepreneur. I think you're willing to take these risks because you believe in what you're doing. Um,
Mm.
there are other ways to make money. You can go in the real estate business, and it's a lot safer, right? For me, it's never been about the money. For me, it's about bringing my ideas to
The
life.
challenge,
Earlier, you asked
absolutely.
about software, right? What I love about software is I can dream up an idea and I can pull the right team together and we can build that idea. Lucihub is a
Amazing.
perfect example of that, right? So, but I do think if you want to be an entrepreneur and a founder, a really great lesson or a really great skill to pick up is storytelling. Because, boy, you have to tell a story of a product that doesn't exist to a group of people who are going to commit to buy it or invest in it, right? We call it vaporware, but you really have to sell this vision because when I started talking to people about this, they thought I was crazy. They go, "You're going to turn around videos in 2 hours?" You can't turn around videos in 2 hours. They said, no, I think we can. We do this thing called the party trick. I'll get up and give a presentation. 15 minutes later, I say, I have one more video I want to show you. And it's the highlight of today's presentation. And it's the
Wow.
video of everybody in the crowd, me getting up and speaking, and we deliver it, right? It's our party trick. But
Wow.
I had to sell that vision and nobody believed it. And so when we did our first product launch, I did that. And you should have seen the look in the room, like people's faces, their jaws dropped, right? Because no one's ever seen a professional video get edited in minutes.
Yeah, exactly. And create that wow experience, right?
A wow experience, and we had to tell the story, right? I had to sell a story before it was ever a product.
Mm.
So
Yeah,
I think, going back to what do startups do, I think maybe number six is learn to tell the story
yeah,
or
absolutely.
be a storyteller.
Because when you tell the story, you can persuade the audience because we all learn with the stories, right? Since we were kids, we listen to story. So if you want to persuade an audience or you want to communicate your idea, the best way is
Tell
to
the story.
put it in format of a story, of a great story.
Yeah.
So what's the future? What's the future? Tell us about your company. What you guys you're heading up? What are your idea clients? Yeah, tell us what
Yeah, yeah.
people. Yeah, tell us a little
Yeah,
bit.
so we're mostly in the enterprise, and we work in all the different departments in the enterprise. We just started working with social media influencers, so we just started doing long form video too and short form for social media interview influencers for YouTubers. And I think what's really exciting for me is the white label because there are large agencies that can now use us, make a lot of margin, and get things done a lot faster than they used to be able to.
So if someone guys want to, they're hearing this podcast and they want to know more about your product, your services, how it works, how the process works, how they can find you, how they can
So actually, I think
my
I'm wearing
level
the shirt
works.
today, but this is the shirt. This is the logo, Lucihub. So it's Lucihub, lucihub.com. And we have a bunch of videos out there on what we do, how we do it. We actually have an entire Lucihub Academy that teaches you to be a filmmaker on your smartphone. So the big value our platform brings is you can film content on your phone, upload it to our cloud, and we turn it into a professional edit. And you can film distributed. We have a global client. They basically ask a question of their employees. They get a video response from all over the world, and then we stitch it together into the top 10, and then we send it out, and we send it to all of their employees as a response. So it's a very robust platform for distributed video capture, AI content creation, and professional production.
Wow, and then we are in the content creation economy. I think that you pick a very good growing market because this is just the started of what we call it. We are in a creators economy,
We
right?
are in a creator economy, and our goal is to create quality at speed and scale.
Exactly.
So we had a
Um,
client that submitted 12 videos last month, and they needed them the next day, and they got 12 videos back the next day.
Amazing, amazing, and I think that productivity tools are and tech can help a lot to guide to so the companies can have a competitive advantage, right?
Well, I think that's the thing. I think if you're somebody who's in an industry that's really low tech, to just succeed in that industry and beat your competitors, just apply tech for efficiencies and you'll do better, right? It doesn't have to be rocket science. It doesn't have to be some crazy idea. It could literally be when we first started building this platform, we thought it would be a bunch of AI, but the biggest productivity gain came out of building efficiencies in the workflow. That gave us huge advantages, and then the AI just made it even better.
And I think, guys, this is your core product. This is your strength. You already have experience in this area to create efficiency in the workflow, and this is like I said, productivity tools that makes life easy for the entrepreneurs, because at the end of the
Yeah.
day, if you don't create, if you're not creating content, you're not creating video, and you're not in the social media with your content, it's going to be very difficult to create a community, because the community consume content, and actually high quality content is the key of grow the community. I'll tell you an example. I have, as a hobby, I have a band, yeah, and we play salsa. So I
You
started
do?
yeah. And then but look, I took a speaker and I started to play salsa, invite a lot of people. London, it was in we were doing that party, and a lot of people came and danced, right? And the community was growing. Everybody come and dance salsa, right? And then we say, hey, why we don't create a Cuban band? Yeah, and we play music with the band, and then okay, we can play with the speaker, but the band can play for 1 hour. And we did that. So the band played for 1 hour, and guess what? More and more people came. So what the point of the story? Yeah, talking about storytelling. So the point of the story is that the more high quality content you create, the bigger you can grow your community, right? It was not clearly was not the same play the music with the speaker that we play the music with the speaker, and for 1 hour the live band play. So the quality of the content increase, and that's why the community grow bigger. And I think that this is the secret of everybody out there that want to grow a community, which is, I think, the best place to start a business. People think that, oh, to start a business, let me create the product. I think that better create a good community, good quality videos, good community, orientating the product that you are really wanted to launch or to sell. And once you have that community, even you can ask that community, hi guys, I have this product, what do you think? The community will tell you, they will shape your product, and there you go. You have already a community created that can buy your product. It's a better way to create a product and after try to make a market fit, right?
Well, what do you play in the band?
What I play, well, I'm the owner of the band, so I play what is needed.
Uh,
If I had to
Because I have
sing,
a band. I have two bands.
wherever, if I had to do
I'll
it
have to bring you on
one,
my podcast, Terry.
sometimes I don't have to do anything. Sometimes everybody show up and I like relief. Whoa, my God, good. I don't have to do anything. But if the people don't show up, I'm like you. I'm the owner of the band, so I have to do what is needed. So play a little bit of guitar or sing in the choir or a little bit of percussion, and
I
so
gotta I gotta bring you into my show. I have a
I will love
podcast
to.
called Makers and Jam,
I will love
and
to.
it's actually it's we play music. So we talk business and then we play music. It's in a studio, and
Oh
I sit
wow,
behind the drums and I interview people from behind the drums.
really? Wow,
So
that's amazing.
yeah,
Yeah.
we have to get you to Las Vegas for that.
Oh, when I go to US, I would love to go there. Yeah.
Yeah, you'd be the perfect guest actually, because we talk business and then we play music together.
Oh, I would love to. I would love to. Thank you so much. That's been fantastic. Thank you so much. I know your time is very valuable. Thank you so much for spending this time with us and for give honest feedback and honest advice for our audience. I think that it's better to tell the truth, right? And to tell what it is, and to be vulnerable. Yeah, I hit the other day. Somebody invited me to a conference, and it was one guy saying, the guy was doing the conference, and I'm listening, and the guy was saying, I have this entrepreneur that already opened 4 businesses and have failed 4 businesses, and never invest in this entrepreneur because it's bad track record. And I'm like, man, what are you talking about? What is this guy? What is a choice to me? Because it's only I need to put it on the right track. I want it. What are you talking about? How can
Yeah.
you say this in front of a lot of people? You crazy? And sometimes people go and talk there, maybe because they read the book or they it was a conference or critic, I think, and I'm like, maybe you read this in the book or whatever, but the reality is not like that. The entrepreneurs that fail, and you know what? That's why the guy told you, come and see me in the next business. Because what he's buying is you, your experience and your drive, right? That you're gonna make it. Doesn't matter what is in your hand, and this is what is important, right?
I think the problem with social media and the problem with, what you and I do is there's a lot of people who want to be on stage, but it's not what they have to say, it's how they're saying it that's getting people's attention. But if you actually dig into the content they're sharing, it has zero value. I've been on many panels where I'm listening to these people give horrible advice to entrepreneurs, and I'm thinking, man,
Yeah,
this is bad. Like these people are going to go and lose everything because they're getting
exactly.
really bad advice from
They're gonna do
people.
that, and
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, so it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Likewise, Harry. I appreciate you having me on your show, and we'll have to get you on Makers and Jam when you're in the U.S.
Absolutely, absolutely. And for you guys listening this podcast, follow us in our social media, and see you in our next episode of Unstoppable, how brave entrepreneurs may break that wall and achieve the first million. So bye for now.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.